angry. Let me start one by one here. If you grew up in an environment where people fuss and argue to solve their problems, you begin to adopt that as your way of dealing with problems. Some of y'all had a mean mama. I mean, I love your mama just like you love your mama, but she was mean. You had a fussy daddy or granddad.
No matter what they do to you, don't let them take you there. No, that's right. Don't let them take you there. Anger management. Ladies and gentlemen, it does not matter how deep or how spiritual you are as a person. We all have to admit that in spite of our holiness, we are all human. As I said in the first service, it does not matter how many years you have logged onto the church roll. Doesn't matter how many ministries you're involved in. Doesn't matter how many days a week you stop by the chapel. The fact of the matter is, in spite of your holiness, each and every day we must wrestle with our humanness. The fact is, we are faithful, but yet we have what I call frailties in our flesh. Meaning it is a struggle to suppress or at the very least conceal those human tendencies, those fleshly frailties that we all have. It does not matter what row you sit on, does not matter what level of Christianity you find yourself having achieved already. The fact of the matter is, you are holy, but yet you are human. I wonder if there's anybody here who is honest enough to admit your humanity. I don't know what it is about some people, but some people are so hyper spiritual that they cannot even admit that they struggle like I do and wrestle with things like you do. We all wrestle within our flesh. We all struggle with our human tendencies. It does not matter how much you read the Bible. It does not matter how many sermons you pull up on YouTube throughout the week. The fact of the matter is, we all have vulnerabilities. We all have some buttons. We all have some weaknesses. We all have some portals of our personality that if we are not careful, the devil will take us there. Is there anybody here who can admit that you've dealt with anger on some level? Yeah, folk make you mad. Situations make you upset. Things you never thought you would say, you said it when you were angry. Things you never thought you would do because it was not in your personality, you did it when you were angry. All of us are human in spite of our holiness. All of us have frailties in spite of our faithfulness. The fact of the matter is, all of us must be aware of what our weaknesses are, because the devil will use them as a vehicle. If there's one thing that you ought to appreciate about God on the first Sunday in June, it is the fact that God makes allowances for your humanity. In other words, he understands that you struggle. He understands that you are weak. He understands that you have frailties. And the Bible reveals to us that to be angry is not a sin. Paul, in writing to the Ephesian church, he says to them very clearly, be angry, but sin not. I think a lot of times, and this goes back to our conversation from last Sunday, when we talk about people's mental state and their mental stability, I think we are taught as a culture to suppress certain things. Within our families, we are taught not to talk about certain things. We are taught that what happens in this house stays in this house. But on a deeper level, what happens in me just stays with me. I ain't going to talk to nobody. I ain't going to see nobody. I ain't getting no counseling. I ain't going to let nobody know. And as a result, things build up. Things start to grow. Things start to fester. And before you know it, a person has gone over the edge. A person has hurt themselves and possibly others, all because as a culture, we have been taught to suppress our anger. But I need every Christian in here to know this morning, anger itself is not a sin. God makes allowances for your humanity. It is perfectly human for you to get upset. It is perfectly normal for you to not like some things and even not like some people. The fact of the matter is that everybody's spirit don't jive with your spirit. Everybody's ways are not agreeable with your ways. Some folk can just look at you wrong and that makes you feel some type of way. But the sin comes in when we allow ourselves to act on the anger. Let me take my time here. He says, be angry, but sin not. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a cycle within ourselves, within our families, within our community at large, where people have this anger but don't know how to process. Have I got a witness here? I said people have anger issues, anger management issues. The sin is not in the anger. The sin is in how you manage your anger. Do you know what your buttons are? No, this ain't your neighbor's sermon. This is your sermon. I said, do you know what your buttons are? Are you aware of the things that make you angry? Because there's some of you, y'all are cool as a cucumber. It takes a whole lot to make you angry. It takes a whole lot to make you go off. But even in your mild disposition, you even have to be aware of what your buttons are. Because how many of y'all know it be them quiet ones? It be them ones that's a cool customer and they seem like they got it all together, but when they do snap, when they do go off, when they finally do let you have it, ain't no stopping them from that. They from 0 to 80 in 1.5 seconds. Tell your neighbor, don't take me there now. Don't take me there. Don't take me there. You have to be aware of what your vulnerabilities are. You have to be aware of your past history. And those things, watch me now, that can serve as triggers to your hot temper. Now, I understand what some of you are saying. You've already detached from this sermon just like you did last week's sermon because you just figure ain't nothing wrong with you mentally. You straight this week, and so you ain't went off on nobody in the last 2.5 weeks, so you just figure you're all right. But let me tell you something. All of us are susceptible to the spirit of anger. All of us are vulnerable to the enemy whose job it is to steal, kill, and destroy. And for many of us, the portal through which he enters our life and the portal through which he navigates our spirit is through the channel of anger that we allow him in. He knows what your buttons are. He knows what it takes to make you angry. And some of you are saying, well, you know what? I haven't hit anyone. I haven't abused anyone. But guess what? Some of us use very angry language. Have you ever met an angry person? Have you ever met a person whose tone is just negative? I don't like to use the word vibe in church because we got some hyper spiritual strange people that believe in all them vibes, but you know what I mean when I say it. Some people's vibe just ain't right. It's because they are carrying, thank you, Holy Spirit, a spirit of anger. I submit that when you look at the behavior of a person, what you're seeing is the fruit of what's in their spirit. A person who's argumentative all the time, that's the fruit of what's in their spirit. A person that will just haul off and hit someone just because you got angry. Even those of y'all who struggle with road rage. You know how it is. You came from Miami, you came from Atlanta, you came from up north, and folk here just drive way too slow for you. If it's a yellow light, what you hitting your brakes for? Go ahead on through that yellow light. We can all do this if we just cooperate with each other. Some of y'all live on your horn. Some of y'all live riding and tailgating other people. You got anger issues. Get off my street, Pastor. Get off my street. You gotta know what your buttons are, because when you see a person's actions, what you're seeing is the fruit of what's in their spirit. And see, what you don't know and what you don't recognize, it is not the fruit that you need to examine. It is the root. What happened to you that made you so angry? Who did something? Who hurt you? What kind of environment did you grow up in? I submit that there are environmental factors, there are community factors, there are socioeconomic factors that can make a person angry. Let me start one by one here. If you grew up in an environment where people fuss and argue to solve their problems, you begin to adopt that as your way of dealing with problems. Some of y'all had a mean mama. I mean, I love your mama just like you love your mama, but she was mean. You had a fussy daddy or granddad, and they really didn't mean no harm, but they were just fussy. And when you grow up in that kind of environment, that's when you have little preschoolers going to school hitting other children because they're upset, or they hit somebody because they got in front of them in the line, or they pushing somebody. That stuff starts early. You got to look at the root, not just the fruit. What do I do as a young man if the environment I came up in was one of anger? I saw my daddy hit my mama. That's why I hit my girlfriend. My daddy hit me, and that's why I abused my wife. What do you do when his roots are violent? What do you do when you're dealing with a woman who's so wounded that for her every day is survival? She got trust issues, and she had them before she met you. She got insecurities, she got vulnerabilities, and so when she finally does find what she thinks is something she wants to hold on to, well, now she's going to fight to hold on to it, even if it means she got to beat your head in. See how quiet it get up in there? Oh, you thought this was going to be a sermon about men beating on women? Well, how about you women who got anger issues? Go around busting the windows out of people's car, then write a song about it and then go brag about what you've done. You need to go see somebody. None of us have the right to impose, invade, or disrespect someone's personal space just because we got mad. Let me be very clear. Men, women, boys, and girls, you gotta live by that golden rule that they taught you when you were little. Treat folk I had some help in here. Treat folk like you want to be treated. If you don't want nobody cussing at you, well then you don't need to use that language against nobody. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care who gets on your nerves. You ought not compromise your own character letting people take you there. Am I helping anybody this morning? You got to remember who you are and remember who God called you to be. Yes, you may get angry, but don't allow those anger issues to cause you to act in anger. God gives you license for the emotion, but he does not give you license for the action. Be angry, but keep your hands to yourself. I had a witness in here. Be angry, but don't cause other people pain and grief with your words or with your actions. Your words can be just as bad as what you do with your hands. Anybody here ever had somebody to tear you down with their words? Cut you with their words, hurt you with their words? I'm telling you, the tongue itself is a weapon of mass destruction. I'm talking to those of us who got the vocabulary to put people in their place. I'm talking about those of you who are professional cusser-outers. I wish I had some help in here. Let them try you. You will tell them where to go and how to get there. I'm talking about the ones that you got the vocabulary to cuss people. You got the vocabulary to help somebody. That's why you be telling folks, don't take me there, because now once I go there, I ain't going to be able to stop. My mouth is like a running faucet. It's hard to turn me off once I open up. So you better be careful how you try me. You better be careful what you say to me. You don't know what kind of day I'm having right now. All of us, we need to be in prayer for tongue control. I'm going to talk about our actions in a minute, but it's our words that are abusive and hurtful to some people. I don't care how mad you get. You ain't got the right to tear nobody else down. Because if the same mouth that says, I love you, can also call me up, that same tongue, that same mouth, I'm not going to believe you when you try to speak loving words to me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh no, you was just cussing me out yesterday. You were just calling me everything but a child of God. I was every dog and female dog in the book, and now you want to turn right back around with that same dirty mouth and say you love me? You got to be careful how you use your words, because words even can tear people down. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with an angry person? Have you ever tried to rationalize with an angry person? It's almost like you may as well just back up and just let them have it. Because they're right all the time. They're never wrong. You can't tell them nothing. And then they get defensive about every little bit of thing. And so you end up getting blessed out by a person who already had anger issues anyway. You got to dig down into your roots and find out what is it about you that is causing you to be so angry. It's all right to be angry, but your actions ought not be in anger. I submit to you on a real level, y'all, environmental factors can make you angry. Think about this. People that live in poverty, every day is a struggle. Every day somebody taking advantage of you. Every day is hard. You wake up with that kind of stress. Every day it'll make you angry. I was so surprised when I came to Georgia and then later on to Florida and how, nice people were in the South. Because where I come from, you better not even look at folk walking down the street. See, y'all have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you ain't looking at nobody. You walk past a brother, you ain't, saying what's up to him because he got something for you. people that live in certain environments are just uptight. I had to learn how to be nice. I had to learn how to speak. I had to learn that people don't mean me harm when they reach out to hug me. People don't mean you no harm when they try to shake your hand. But when you live in a certain environment, when every day is a struggle, you can't trust nobody. You're defensive of everybody. You think everybody has an ulterior motive, and you miss out on genuine relationships, all because your environment made you angry. I don't care what you say. Being broke can make you angry. I mean, you working hard, doing the best you can with what you got, and still can't seem to make your ends meet. That will make you angry, especially when you look at governments and you look at local officials who's supposed to try to open doors for people, but yet they just enrich themselves and pad their own pockets, ain't opening doors for nobody. The schools are run down, the teachers are stressed, the parents are stressed out, the money is not going where it needs to go. And so if you're living on that hamster wheel, if you're living in that cycle, it's enough to make you angry. I don't make excuse for criminals. I don't make excuse for criminals. Howbeit ever, environmental factors can turn you into a criminal. You know why? Because if I'm hungry and I got to feed myself, got to feed my family, at that point, I ain't stealing because I want to be a crook. I ain't robbing because I want to be a crook. At that point, I'm trying to survive. I'm hungry out here. And my environment, if I've ever been to jail, well, when I get out, ain't nobody giving me no job because I got a record. So now I got to do something to feed myself. I know it's illegal, but I'm hungry. I wish I had some honest people in here. I know it's against the law, but this environment that I'm in has now produced a criminal. And the recidivism rate of people that go back to jail is in the 90th percentile. You know why? Because poverty breeds crime, and crime creates another cycle where people continue to be angry. I don't know if you know what it's like to live literally from day to day. The majority of y'all at this 9:30 service, you pretty much know that you're going to be straight for June. Well, at the moment, you got a roof over your head. At the moment, you got the option to eat if you want to. At the moment, you had to move some clothes out of the way to choose the outfit you wore today. But what about them folk who ain't got nothing? What about the people that have to live on the street and have to guard all of their stuff because their life is in a satchel bag? What about those people who have to eat out of the garbage can? What about those children that don't get a hot meal before they go to school? So now they can't learn math because their stomach is growling, and it makes them angry because the teacher just stays on them, and the teacher don't understand. I ain't got no lights at my house. We ain't got no food at my house. My clothes aren't even clean. We can't just look at a person in their situation and judge them. We got to be willing to meet people where they are and at least listen to what they're going through. Bump somebody and tell them, listen to me, please. Listen to me. Before you jump into a relationship, you better get to know the joker you in a relationship with. Because they had some issues before they met you. They went through some stuff before they met you. And so that's where the trust issues come from. That's where the insecurity come from. That's when they don't want nobody to touch them, don't want nobody to be around them. That's why they just jump at a hair trigger. That's why they snap all the time. It's not you. They done been through something. And until we get down to the root of what's going on with people, we will not be able to stop this cycle of abuse. There are some people, I promise you, I was talking to a brother yesterday afternoon. I kid you not, God as my witness. And he witnessed to the fact, he said that there are some women, because he went through it, there are some women who want to have a fight every now and then just to keep the relationship spicy. I ain't never met that chick. I pray I never have to meet that chick. But I'm trying to tell you, he said from experience, well, there are some women that want to fight with you just so they can make up with you. said, well, where are you meeting these women so that I can tell the brothers who are single at Jacob Chapel to stay far, far away from these lunatics you've been dating? But there are some who like drama. Some men too like confrontation. Just want to get into something just for the sake of arguing. Look here, I ain't got time to be arguing with argumentative folk just for argument's sake. I ain't got time to be going back and forth with you on some drama stuff. I ain't answering the text. I'm ignoring the call. I'm bypassing the message. I ain't finna sit there and read these paragraphs of your anger because you got some anger issues that you need to deal with. No, that ain't the kind of relationship you ought to want to be in. It's too much drama. It's too much drama. Husbands and wives go 2 and 3 weeks without speaking to each other. Walk around the house, won't look at each other. It's natural for you to say good morning. It's natural for you to speak to someone. I ain't speaking to you. I ain't speaking to you. And then you mess around and you mess up and you speak to them and you forget you were supposed to be mad at them. So you, oh man, I wasn't even supposed to be. I'm still mad at you. I don't even remember what I'm mad about, but I am mad at you though. You ain't apologized to me yet. Somebody ought to say amen right up in there. You. And the devil sits back and laughs at how immature we are, laughs at how petty we are. Some church folk will make a beeline, take a detour around the sanctuary just to avoid speaking to somebody. I don't know who you are this morning, but I made up my mind. I will not let the devil keep me from living a Christian life. I don't care how mad I am at you. I'll hug you even if you give me hell. I will shake your hand even though you put a knife in my back. I refuse to let the devil take my joy. I refuse to let him take my smile. I refuse to let anybody know that something is going on with me. Why? Because even when I'm sad, I still got reason to have joy. Even when I'm upset, I still got a reason to worship. I don't know who I'm preaching to this morning, but God says don't let the devil take you there. You better pray before your feet hit the floor in the morning. Lord, whatever I'm going to see today, help me to handle it. Whoever I run into, God, guard my spirit from whatever they working with. God, whatever I got to go through today, Lord, keep me in perfect peace as I keep my mind stayed on you. Did anybody say your prayers before you left the house this morning? Because you can run into the devil in the church parking lot if you ain't careful. You can run into the devil in the choir stand. I wish I had some help in here. You can run into the devil sitting right there on your pew. But you better have it made up in your mind. Devil, you will not take me there, and I will not give up my joy. And so we got to stop joking about the serious issue of domestic violence, because it's a cycle of abused women, abused men, and we're so silent about it where those who are hurting don't feel like they can come out, because we're taught even in a church environment, don't say nothing. So what happens then if a person is hurting and is being abused and the abuser is sitting right up in here too? And so now she can't say nothing because all the church folk gonna know. And in the meantime, we fellowshipping with him, we having barbecue with him, we in the male course with him, and he upside his wife's head. And she can't say nothing because Jacob Chapel gonna find out. What do you say to the man who is being mistreated, who's being torn down by his woman because she make more money than him? She talks down to him every day. You need to fix yourself up. I already dressed you. I already got you the job interview. You need to do better. How about you women keep tearing these men down? But he can't say nothing because we're going to call him a punk if he come to church and ask for prayer about this hellraiser he living with. We're going to call him soft if he call the police on your abusive self. And so he just holds it in. Because you know what I found out? I ain't telling nobody business, but here's what I found out from observation. Some women date down on purpose. And the reason you date down is because you have control issues. And so you're going to get somebody that's less than you in your mind, and you can fix him up. Because if you fix him up, you can control him. If you fix him up, he'll act right. If it's your house he laying up in, then you can call the shots. If he ain't got nothing but you've been taking care of him, now you figure he got to do what you say. I know I'm right about it. You ain't got to say amen. Some of y'all date down on purpose, and you fix him up and you upgrade him, and then he get out there and start feeling good about himself. Then you want to ring him in. Your cousin know what I'm talking about. You're afraid to date up because you can't see yourself submitting to no man. My mama was a strong woman. My grandmama was a strong woman. My aunties and my sisters, all of them, they raised me to be a strong woman. I ain't finna bow down to no man. I ain't finna serve no man. I ain't finna fix no man food. I ain't finna bring him no food. I ain't finna iron his clothes. He better go to the dry cleaner. I ain't doing all that for that man. And in the meantime, that's why you ain't got one. Your lonely self. My children can't eat at McDonald's all of their life. Somebody got to fix some food. Every now and then somebody ought to warm that stove up. Every now and then somebody ought to know how to tend to a house. I'll go out there and get the bacon, but I need a baby that can fry it. I wish I had some help in here. You go ahead and be independent, but you're going to be lonely. You go out there and mistreat these men if you want to. You're going to miss out on a good one because you got some anger management issues. Baby girl, your degree can't keep you warm at night. Your $50,000 a year can't do nothing for you when the heat is on. I wish I had some help in here. All of us better humble ourselves, love each other, take care of each other, because if you don't want it, somebody else does. I kid you not. There are men who are suffering. I'm talking about he go to work every day, bring every dime of his money home, but she verbally abuses him because she can't go on a cruise like her girlfriends do. She want to be able to go to lunch and pick up the tab for all of her girlfriends, and she gonna fuss at Johnny because Johnny ain't bringing home that kind of money. Are you kidding me? Let your homegirls pay for their own lunch. You want to go on a cruise? Then you save your money and take yourself on a cruise. But the man don't owe you no lifestyle. I'm going on to something else now. A man don't owe you a fur coat. A man don't owe you a Cadillac. A man don't owe you hair every 2 weeks. That is not why you get in a relationship. And if that's what you want, get a better job. Man working as hard as he can, and you fussing because you can't pick up the tab. Some of y'all women better get over yourselves. What was my point? I'm all on some other stuff now. Be angry. See, I got my own buttons, I'm trying to tell you. Be angry, but don't sin. I'm closing now. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Don't let a day go by where you carry anger to bed with you. I submit now, because I'm not trying to be hyper spiritual about this. It's hard to make peace with a person. I mean, you know, I know what the Bible say or whatever, but some days I do go to bed mad. I don't care what you say. You're a human being. You ain't gonna always make up in 24 hours, but what you do is you make peace with God about the situation. Don't hold the anger, because that affects your health. It affects your well-being. It can affect your stress level, your appetite. All of this is tied into your mental, your spiritual, and your physical health. So when the Bible said don't let the sun go down, what it means is say your prayers before you go to sleep and make peace with God, even if you can't make peace with them. Because you'll find some people don't want to make peace. Some folk live for the drama. Some folk won't accept an apology. Some folk want to hold on to stuff too long. Some folk want to keep on arguing, because that's how they get their kicks off. That's how they get their thrill. They want to fight. They want some drama. They will test you. They will try you. And you got to be spiritual enough to walk away. Case in point, I can close on this. For 24 hours, I was a Heat fan. I'm going to close with this, y'all. Terrence, for 24 hours, Bagley, I was a Heat fan. And I'll tell you why. There's something very annoying about a person who will go out of their way to push your buttons. Let me go ahead and say it this way. Let a man blow in my ear. Y'all know what I'm saying? Let a man be all touching my face and all, you know, whispering and blowing in my... For 24 hours, I said, Lord, I hope LeBron punched that joker in the throat box. Lord, I hope he knocked that boy out, because you would do anything to get me off my game. You'll do anything to distract me. And ain't that just how the devil is? You done made up your mind that you're going to be calm today, and then he come blowing in your ear, trying to get you off your game. Here he come trying to push your buttons. The devil is a liar. And I like how LeBron worked that thing. He said, man, I got 2 championships on my way to a 3rd. What in the world am I worried about you for? You trying to get where I am. But since you can't drag me down and you can't get to my level, you figure you're going to bring me down to your level. I wish somebody knew where I was going with this. The reason why the devil has to bring you down is because he don't have the power to get up where you are. And I believe what my grandmama told me, said when people try to push your buttons, you got to kill them with kindness. You got to learn how to pray for those that despitefully use you. You got to learn how to be kind to the people that hurt you. Blessed are the meek, for they shall be called the children of God. So you got to pray even when you feel like punching somebody. You got to talk to God when you feel like cussing somebody out. Is there anybody here that's learned how to manage your anger? Yes, I get mad, but you can't take me there, because I've learned how to be like Jesus. When the devil blows in your ear, you gotta be like Jesus and turn the other cheek, because you're up here and the devil is down there, and since he can't come up, he'll try to pull you down. One Friday on Calvary's cross, Jesus went up and the devil tried to pull him down. He said, if you are the Son of God, why don't you come down and save yourself? But I heard Jesus say, go ahead and do your worst, because in 3 days I can raise it up again. He died for your sin and mine. They couldn't pull him down. He stayed up on the cross from the 6th to the 9th hour. He died and he managed his anger. Is there anybody here wanna be like Jesus when they did their worst to you? You can say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them, because they must really be hurting inside. He died for the sins of the world. They laid him down in a borrowed tomb. Y'all know what he did. Stayed in the grave all day Friday, all Friday night, all day Saturday, and all Saturday night. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I said Sunday morning, he got up with all power in the hollow of his hands. And I need somebody that's praying about your anger. I need somebody that's praying about your temper. Find you another neighbor that's struggling like you struggling. Turn to that neighbor, grab him by the hand, shake that angry hand, and tell him this. Tell him, neighbor, I know how to cuss you out, but I'm better than that. Tell him, I know how to knock somebody out, but I'm better than that. Tell him, I got a switchblade, but I ain't gonna use it. I got a pistol in the car, but I ain't gonna use it, because the Lord been too good for me to lay down my religion. The Lord been too good for me to go to jail over you. Have I got a witness here? Shake one more neighbor. We got to get out of here. Find you one more neighbor. Grab him by the hand and tell him these words. Tell him my sanity is too precious to me. Tell him my health mean too much to me. Tell him I ain't going to jail over no foolishness. I ain't going to hell. I ain't going to Tallahassee. I ain't going to the cemetery. I ain't going to TMH over no foolishness. Won't he keep you? Won't he keep you? Say yes. Yes! Yes!